My bizarre experience in my college. My university was emptier than usual, at least where I was watching at. The faculty of my university is small and most of the time it is full all day, but the students took it almost a month ago. I was keeping watch, so that no one could break in and steal the library materials. I was alone in that place. The door was padlocked, and my partners were supposed to take care of the rest of the windows. I had arrived since 4 p.m. and it was getting dark. As I was next to one of the outdoor areas, I saw how the sun was fading. By the time it was 7, I was totally exhausted. At that moment, I heard a glass break. It seemed to be closed, so I went to look, but there was nothing. Maybe it was the echo from somewhere else, but I couldn't get away from where I was. I take my phone to see if there was any message about that, but it doesn't have signal. Something strange considering that the entire faculty had internet. I checked a bit to see if I could connect to any networks, but it couldn't even identify any. After a few minutes, I gave up trying. Surely it was related to the sound before. Now I was without signal and a bit nervous. A few minutes in silence made me feel like something wasn't right, but it wasn't until I heard footsteps that it left me confused. The footsteps could be heard in the corridor next to me. They were heading for the stairs that were next to the library entrance. I waited for what I thought was any of my partners to ask them if they knew what had caused that noise, but no matter how close I heard it, couldn't see anyone. I got a little closer and could hear footsteps next to me, but there was nothing. And then began to climb the stairs. I couldn't see it but could hear each step that went up. That experience left me speechless. It was terrifying. I quickly returned to my place, but I kept thinking about it. I couldn't explain it to myself. When I calmed down, as much as possible, I decided to explore the college a bit to find help. On the floor where I was, down to the bottom, it was completely empty. If I remembered correctly, there should be at least 2 other people in that hallway. The same thing happened upstairs. I searched room by room. There was no trace of a single soul. I was walking fast and scared. On the 3rd floor, I stopped short. As I climbed the stairs, murmurs and movements could be heard. Couldn't understand anything they were saying. When I reached the top, everything became overwhelmingly silent. I am not a believer in the ideas of energies, but in that situation, I felt a pressure in the air that did not allow me to breathe well. I hesitated, but decided to cross the hall. Frightened, I peeked into the nearest door. There was no one, but there was noise. Again a few steps sound. I checked door to door and once again, no one was there. Just empty rooms one after another, yet that was the most oppressive loneliness I had ever felt. I went down the stairs as fast as I could to the lowest floor. Once again there was something more calm, but I still felt observed by loneliness. I couldn't explain it better. I still had a place to investigate, but not only was it the one that made me feel most uncomfortable, but I already expected what I could find. I walked towards the theater area. I had only entered once, during the presentation of the facilities. It felt the same as how the 3rd floor felt, even more intensely. The first rooms was the same as the rest, empty. But I could hear something more than murmurs and footsteps. I was hearing conversations and words that I couldn't identify. It was just noise. A noise so clear that I could imagine the conversations. They came from a dark corridor, which, if I remembered correctly, led to a room similar to a theater. I didn't want to go in. I was terrified of finding anything again, so I just decided to run away. I took my things that I had left at my place and left through the main entrance. I forced the lock by hitting it. When I got out, I realized that I hadn't really looked out any windows before, so as I would remember seeing that flat, pastel purple that seemed superimposed on the sky behind the buildings and trees. I checked my phone one more time. According to the clock, it was 12 at night. However, everything seemed illuminated, as if it were day but with a paler light. I was completely confused, nervous and terrified. The street was dressed in nothing, even more than the faculty. I ran to my flat. Luckily it was close to my university. When I was there, I just lay down and fell asleep. The next day the first thing I did was look out the window. The sky was normal again. At first I thought it was all a dream, but looking at the calendar it was already the next day. In college, my classmates asked me why I left without notice. Apparently someone had broken a window and left and they all thought it was me. But that was not all. They also mentioned that last night some people felt that there was a mysterious specter playing. After a year, I tried to understand what the hell happened.